Welcome to Whippoorwill Holler. I'm Miss Lori and this is Mr. Brown. We live in the hills of Arkansas. We love the Lord. Keepers of the old way, but accept some of the new. We love to cook and we love to eat. We love to garden. It's in our blood. It's how we stay sustainable and fill our pantry. We do a lot of canning and preserving. We live a sustainable life. We love our family. We work hard. And every once in a while, we like to dance. So y'all join us.
So my grandson's helped me plant my potatoes, and y'all seen that. I've dug probably over half of them already, and they're making pretty good. Now I did not baby these potatoes at all, and you see how my wife thinks that's some wild violet that's growing in there, and there's grass, more violet than there is grass. And I had that straw down, but now I never watered these one time. We had some dry spells and we had a few wet spells, a little bit of rain. They're not very deep. I can dig them by hand. And I'm pulling all this stuff up kind of as I go, most of it, and throwing it to the side, and I'm going to let it rot, and I'm going to put it back in the rows. Now this end of the potatoes normally don't make as much as this fore end does. I'll get down here and see if I can find a snake. But as I go, I'm just pulling this stuff here up from my potatoes. Until I get in here and find a potato vine. Now this growing in here has its pros and cons. It steals some of your moisture, but yet it helps protect the sun. Some of these potatoes at certain spots didn't come up, so they're not as close together. And some of these potatoes still blooming. It's a little bitty vine. I don't know if it'll have very much in it or not. I see one right there. You can see a little one right there on top of the ground. That's a little bitty vine. Won't you look what a potato. That little bitty old vine. And they're not very deep. Look at there. There's another one. And another one. Vine don't always tell how many potatoes is under it. I pulled big vine that wouldn't have, I pulled some before it wouldn't have a potato under it. And you take a little vine like that and it make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 potatoes. One little one. Planted these, I think, first week of March. I believe it was. I'm not sure. Kind of growed up. It is what it is. See, that vine that's not a real big potato vine. You see what it grew. I fertilized them one time. I did not baby them. And right here, I've been getting a few of these rocks. But I had some volunteer red potatoes come up. I've been finding a few of them. That's what that whole plant there is. That's a red potato in here with a Yukon Gold. And that come up on his own. Them pretty potatoes, ain't they, Mom?
Mm-hmm.
And this potato bed is absolutely full of them. They're everywhere in here, these worms. They've been working ever since I put that old sawdust I put in here. Pretty good space for something that didn't come up. Should have been another potato vine right there. Here's one right here. And that red potato. I'm beginning to wonder if these things didn't cross. How do you get red potatoes and Yukon Gold out of the same area?
Or some of them left maybe from last year?
The reds were, but there's also Yukon.
Yukon.
I can't even
Yukon.
talk. That little bitty vine, I want you to look. Made 4 potatoes.
That one little bitty vine.
One little bitty vine. Now, we didn't bury them very deep. That's one reason they're right here on top of the ground. There's a cicada shell. What do you say you're gonna plant back in here? Some peas?
Peas. Some winter peas.
I think sometimes when you leave them little potatoes like that right there, they'll stay. I throw them in there. They might come up next year, or who knows. I don't know where I can't remember that. There's a vine right there.
What you doing down on the floor, Paul?
Well, I've been putting up your potatoes.
My potatoes? I think you eat as many as I do.
This is how we've been doing it the last few years. You can put them on parchment paper or newspaper or in a box. The main thing, you just don't want to stack them in there, especially after they're fresh dug. Leave the dirt on them. Don't wash them. Leave the dirt on them. I've got little boxes of them in here for now. I got them separated out. Little potatoes, big potatoes. And we got some laying under the cabinet over there on parchment paper.
That's yeah, that's parchment paper. That's some old parchment paper I had stuck back.
We got a few of them under here. If we had, you could put a little lime on them if you wanted to in them boxes. Might make them keep a little longer. If we had more than what we wanted to put in the house, we usually put them under the house. I put them under the house and put them on a rack, an old grill rack or something, get them up off the ground, and then throw lime on them if you want to. They keep pretty good like that. Now wintertime gets here, even though it's dark under that house, the heat from this wood stove warms. It don't stay good and cool under there. And our potatoes start sprouting. We have to, matter of fact, I've had a few that I've got out in the spring and went and planted. But we've got enough here that do us for a while, and they'll be just fine.
They're going to be good, and I'm going to also be doing a video on, there's some underneath this cabinet, 2 in boxes, some under there, and then I'll walk back to the pantry, and then under here. But I'm probably going to freeze, I'm probably going to make some hash browns and probably some french fries, and that's how I'm going to be doing my potatoes, some of my potatoes this year for putting them up. I'm not going to can any. I'm getting to the point that I don't really care for canned potatoes, and so I'm going to do a little bit of freezing, and I'm just going to keep some whole, because anytime that we do this, we keep them in this house, in the, like under there in the dark. There's not a lot of humidity in here. There's a little bit, but not as much as outside, and they need a little bit of humidity, but not a lot.
And they need to dry. I won't hurt them to dry for a while before you get ready to put them up.
Yeah. But y'all, some of y'all been asking how we're putting our potatoes up, and yeah, we have put them underneath the house. Pretty much that's how we always done it. Plus kept some in here. But this year, I don't reckon we'll be putting in any under the house this year. This is how we're doing it.
That's a big old bacon potato there, ain't it?
Yeah, that's a pretty one. We got some pretty potatoes this year, and they done really good. And I think most...
These here are already getting pretty dry.
Well, these potatoes were not real green when you dug them, were they?
No, they were... matter of fact, I had a couple trying to sprout, so...
When you buy potatoes, you can get up out the floor now, Paul. When you buy potatoes from the stores, and you'll know, especially the russets, you'll notice how green they are. And, but these potatoes that we dig up are not green like that. We don't dig them up green, and we don't spray them. So, there's a big difference there. But we've done, tell you the truth, we've done ate some of them potatoes last night, didn't we?
Yeah, and they were good.
They were good. We didn't cure them for 2 weeks. They looked good. I washed them up. They weren't green. And
They sat out a couple of days. And
yeah. I boiled them up, salt and pepper, and lots of butter. And we ate every bit of it. It was good. Good job, Paul, on the potatoes. So if that answers your question, I hope so. If that'll help you out, which I know a lot of people say, well, I don't want a bunch of potatoes in the house. Well, we just do what we do to keep ourselves fed, and sometimes we try different things to see what works best. And
we don't have no basement or no cellar. Or,
no, not yet, for sure.
Now my daddy used to put them in the ground. They used to take and dig a hole in the ground, and then they would layer with sand and a little bit of straw and layer them up, put plenty of sand between them, cover them deep under the ground. They go out there, that way they wouldn't freeze. They put them, deep enough they wouldn't freeze. And they go out there and dig them up in the wintertime and have fresh potatoes. They kept pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I know that I've had potatoes out here keep all winter out here in my potato roll. One I'd miss, and it would stay underground all winter, and most of the time it would look like a good potato. So there's ways to do it, but I don't have no hole out there in the ground right now.
Y'all see back here, y'all probably looking at this. This is Swiss chard, kale, basil, and celery going back there. Y'all have seen me growing these before.
You could, Put them potatoes in a closet too, you know, as long as it wasn't hot. You just, main thing, humidity and heat.
Well, I've even kept some under, like in them cardboard boxes. I've even layered them like that and put them underneath their bed. Do what you gotta do. If it works, it works.
There's all kinds of ways to do it.
So I hope that answers some of y'all's questions. Another question is a lot of people ask is, Miss Lori, when you harvest your herbs and your mint and just all your different teas and stuff, what do you do? Most of the time I hang them just like this, and that's what you're seeing here. This is just hanging from, I got baskets hanging up here from the beam, and this is just hanging here. I just tied it up, and in a few days it'll be dry enough to put up. Meanwhile, I can come by and I can smell my peppermint, and it smells really good. So when I'm just gathering a little bit up at a time, this is what I do. I just hang it. But I also have a dehydrator that I could use it if I had a bunch to go ahead. But I've even had so much hanging in here, it'd just be hanging all over the kitchen and everywhere, so it works. Yeah. The one thing that I'm not going to have much of this year is fresh garlic. I'm going to probably plant that in the fall to go dormant and then come up during the spring's what I'm going to do. I seem to have better garlic that way, so we're not going to have any anytime soon, but I do have garlic put up and in the refrigerator. But anyways, I hope this answers some of y'all's questions. It was just nice being with y'all. Y'all have a wonderful weekend. 4th of July is coming up. I don't know what everybody's got planned, but whatever it is, y'all be safe, but enjoy yourself, and just remember Independence Day, and maybe I'll have a good recipe for the 4th of July before it gets here. So we'll be seeing y'all in a few days. God bless everybody. We love you.